On. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of our podcast. I'm Mitch.
I'm Rob.
Right, everyone. Today we're going to talk about finances because, you know, in a world where, and especially a country where you're pretty much fucked unless you have £500,000 to buy a house. Or
Yeah, I think everyone's goal, if you asked everyone, and what they really want in life, I think most people would say financial freedom in this day and age. And I suppose we're not the best people to talk about finances, but we're going to talk about our own current finances, our views on how to achieve better finances, and then hopefully someone in the comments can let us know how to have better finances.
But to be fair, it's like the thing is there's something that reigns true. If you're poor and you just double how much you work, you're not going to be poor anymore. And this sounds dumb, but I went for it at the start of the year because you worked with me. Do you know what I mean? It's like literally, I was like, do you know what? I'm sick of being poor, so I just worked a ridiculous amount, and you don't get poor. Do you know what I mean?
We've had this conversation quite a few times previously, off camera, and we've always tried to delve into how to be better with our own money. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways that we both agree on is investing our money.
Yeah.
So we both invest into the S&P 500, into an index fund, and that's one way I know how to make money. Otherwise, saving money is not making money. And the other way to make money is, of course, working, and that's your employment, but you have to then spend more time doing so. Therefore, it's time versus money. And what we want is more money, less time working, ultimately, or doing the thing that we want to do. So we want to live the life that we want to live. Agree?
Oh no, absolutely. It's like the thing is, even like people who say they save money, it's like they're losing money because of inflation. They're going to get absolutely fisted in 5 years' time. Do you know what I mean? It's like just having like a basic, and it's like a defensive strategy. Like investing in like an index fund, it is quite defensive because it's not going to make you millions, but it will certainly. It's a wealth creator.
It can compound. It can over time to make you a million.
But you don't want to be 65 reaping the benefits of what you started doing when you were like 20. Do you know what I mean? It is quite good in that sense.
But it'd certainly be nice to get to that point and still have a pot.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's still, the point is to still do it, but if you can make money now ahead of that, you would want to do that.
Yeah, but it's obviously the only way of actually creating like fuck you capital is business, is by starting your own thing. You will never be rich working for someone ever
unless you have a unique skill.
Yeah, unless you're a lawyer. Unless you're a lawyer and then you're a partner within your firm that you're with.
Or like a coder in IT or something so good where you can only write that bit of code.
I know. If you're a complete neek, you might make some money.
You can make money. But if you like us and don't have that unique skill, you're just generic, and you might specialise.
Fucking hell, you just called us generic. Oh no!
You might specialise. You might have a passion. You might want to be the best in the field, but it's still you're only going to get what you do.
Do you know what, Rob? Oh, you see that? We don't give that a go.
You fucking twat. You've just ruined that. You've literally just ruined it.
I was like, that's what I know you need. You can do it. Everyone, go on, Rob. Show everyone a pull-up.
No. Come on. No. You're ruining the podcast.
No. It's fine. No, we're fine.
God's sake.
No.
Back to the fucking podcast. Don't ever do that again.
Do you know what? And I tried it with my poor
autistic traits just come out, and it's just
this rotator cuff didn't want to do that either. I was like, I got halfway up and thought, do you know what? Probably best to not do that.
There's a mirror behind now.
Mirror?
Yeah,
where?
Behind the whiteboard.
Oh shit! There is in fact a mirror.
Anyway, back to the finances. Jesus.
No, this one. No, it's true. It's true. It's like. Yeah.
You're a product of your environment.
Yes, very.
And I think why a lot of us are the way we are is because you follow your parents. And my parents aren't the wealthiest people. Like my dad's had to work his ass off to get to where he is, and same with my mum and my stepdad, and the rest of my family, and like yourself. But when you've got good guidance and people that already know what to do with money, you're a step ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
And what my family, and I suppose what everyone else's family will like, is save your money, put it into a savings account, and just save. and that just doesn't make money.
It does. It literally loses you money.
What over there?
Huh? It literally just fucking loses you.
Okay.
It just loses you money. I was just like, it's just, it's like, do you know what I mean? It's just, saving is not. It's never. It's not even like. It's pathetic. It's poor. It's just not. It doesn't do anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, just put it in a fucking ISA at least. Do you know what I mean? Put it in something that's going to make you something.
Yeah.
Don't just keep hold of it in a fucking current account. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's just, it's like, it's actually pointless. It's like just put it, at least put it in a fucking ISA. Because I know some people are apprehensive about entering into any form of stock or any form of like investment funds.
Well, the trading 212 cash ISA is absolutely perfect if you're not looking to invest money. So some people, when you say invested, it's like there's a big thing. Yeah, it's a big scary thing for some people, and they're like, oh, I could lose it all. But you've got to have that risk factor. And what do you keep laughing at?
I just keep. I just love you, Rob.
Why?
I just love you, Rob. You looked at me and said, "You're a fucking twat."
I meant that. Wholeheartedly meant that. Oh. But on the tap back in. Come on, back in.
I'm in.
Professionalism.
I'm in.
Yeah, it's that big scary thing, and I only got into it because of my friend. My friend that working in insurance, he was surrounded by people in London who had better finances than him, and he was able to learn off of them. So I took a leap of faith from someone I trusted. Otherwise, I'd probably been still in the same situation I was and have that same mindset of just save up for something, then spend, save up for something, then spend. And it's just not the way forward. So
it's also what you value in life. Do you know? In the sense that if you value having a boatload of money, then you're going to have to go down the route of business. If you value, because everyone has, as we discussed last episode, everyone has access to happiness. It's just not pleasure.
Yeah.
If you want leisure, if you want the pleasure of what life can offer you, you need a bit more money. Mm-hmm. If it's just the happiness you desire, family, friends, fucking dog, like simplicity, you have access to that. But if you do not want that, if you want to be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want to do it, you need to have access to financial freedom. And if you don't have access to it, well, then enjoy being 65, still working, having probably some form of depression. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's like that the 9 to 5 rat race, popularized greatly enlarged by the West. It's like you go countries in Asia, not pot to pissing, but happy as fuck. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's probably like you've been to Cambodia, haven't you?
Yeah.
Not poor, not a rich country, but the level of happiness for a Cambodian citizen is off the charts compared to somebody who lives southeast London.
Yeah, I tend to agree, and I'd say that's culture. A lot of it's based on culture, and what they value in life. Exactly to your point, is what do you value? And I think what the Western culture has certainly gone down the route of you've got to have money.
Yeah,
and if you don't have money, then you know. It brings into your ego as well, and I'd much rather have a job that I love and be paid less. So, which I'm speaking from my own experiences. I've worked in IT, had more money than I currently do, earning close to £240 a day at one point, and it was great at the time, but I wasn't clued up on what to do with that money. So if I had the knowledge that I have now, I'd be in better stead, and I probably would have invested a lot more back then and had more in my investment funds. But now, since quitting that job and going for something that I absolutely love, now I have the knowledge to apply going forwards. And starting our business, Rich, and having Rich Talks, which is the way forward, and we'll have different streams of income eventually. But starting your own business is a must if you are looking for that financial freedom. I 100% agree. You can move up the ranks in your set job, but at one point you will be capped.
Yeah.
And if that's what you want to do, if you want to work for someone in a company down the corporate route, you're going to have to keep pushing your salary, because there will be a set point where maybe when you get to late 40s, 50s, where it's capped and you will no longer be able to progress that pay rate because productivity starts to dip as you start to age, and someone younger, more hungry, will do the job probably twice as much as you in terms of productivity and do it for a lot less. As they're building
And
up
that's
the
true,
rates.
because we only have a finite amount of energy in life. You know what I mean? That you can like expend. Like that urge to go to work is like, it's like you're capped on that as well.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it's like, it's also, as we talk about values, what you value more. If you make £3,000 a month self-employed or £7,000 a month employed, I'd always say the self-employed option is way better because you're not anyone's bitch. You are encompassing to yourself. Yes, you have customers who you have to appease and please and things like that, but they'll come and go. Customers can come and go. Like, it's just no scarcity mindset to it. If you've got, say for instance, as you're PT, if you've got 15 clients as a PT, okay, well, there's going to be 15 more out there somewhere. Do you know what I mean? If one drops off because they don't like you, someone else is going to fill that place. Do you know what I mean? Doing that self-employed as opposed to working for someone is always what I'd say preferential, because it's like nowadays if you go online, any things like that, if you're not 22 with a fucking dynasty built, you're deemed to be useless. It's okay to have a job. Do you know what I mean? Who the fuck's gonna, like, some people have to do something like fucking beneficial things for society. Do you know what I mean? Someone has to lay pavements. Someone has to, like, flip the burgers. Do you know what I mean? Someone has to.
Easy life.
No, it's true, but it's not only is it easy life. It's like someone has to do this at some point. Do you know what I mean? And then it's demonized in today's society, like doing like the basic essential things. Who's going to lay pavements? Who's going to build buildings? Who's going to fucking be the doctors? Who's going to be your lawyer when you need it? Who's going to like flip your burger when you want to go to McDonald's? People who have jobs. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone. This is like it's a luxury to have your own business. It's a luxury to be self-employed and things like that. Do you know what I mean? But so if you can do that, do it. But don't look down upon the people who aren't doing that, because that's just snobby. It's pathetic. You're a dickhead if you do that, and it's absolutely fact. You'd agree with me on that. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, like
we've both literally just come from the corporate world. You're still kind of delving you've got your foot in it, you've got your toes in it.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely fine, because there is a transition point, and actually having your own business can be a burden at times. You don't know where you're supposed to be going until you start getting things right, and getting things right is often backed up by your income. As soon as the income rises, okay, you're doing things right. But as long as you're holding your own values and going where you want to be, and that's the reason why I like choosing the way I do things now, because I get to dictate what goes on. I get to dictate my prices. I get to dictate my own time a little bit more now. As long as my mortgage is paid, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is it. So as long as I get by, I'm far happier than I have been. There's been obviously times of uncertainty recently where I've got to get that mortgage paid.
Yeah.
But I had that covered through my savings, and that was that is one thing. So when we're saying it's
cash ice and not savings.
Yeah, but it is savings, because I'm still putting money. But what I'm choosing to be a bit smarter where I put my savings, because I want to make money on that saving. Mm-hmm. But don't just put it in a savings account. So look at banks, because banks are there to make money from you.
Yeah.
Banks are a business, and if you don't know that, look into it, because a bank is there to make money from you, and you want to put it into a point where you're getting a little bit of return on your money. So it's going up with inflation. If it's just sitting there, 30 grand today is not the same 30 grand next year.
We literally know that. Like, do you know, back in 1960s, you could have bought a house for £30,000. Nowadays, that's a house deposit. So if that's not a sign of inflation stiffing you, then what is? Do you know what I mean?
And salary hasn't increased at the same rate.
Nowhere near. It's like don't get me wrong, like the minimum wage has gone up a fair bit in the last couple of years, but it's like for you to live a comfortable life nowadays in society, like, or even just like get by, you have to make like £30,000 a year. Like especially where we are, like in the southeast of England, you have to.
I don't even think many people are on £30,000.
No, because you can't just.
A lot of the population, especially in the UK, I don't know percentages, but most people I know aren't earning £30,000.
Oh, it's so true. It's
unless they're slightly older, unless they've got their own business. And I do know people earning over 30 grand, but they're probably earning 80k more plus.
You can probably count on, if you had 2 pairs of hands, you probably count on that said 2 pairs of hands, how many people you know who earn £50,000 or more. You can probably then count on one hand how many you know are earning 6 figures. Do you know what I mean?
Well, 6 figures, yeah.
And then you've got actually people in today's society who are like, unless you make 6 figures, you're nothing. It's like, live in the real world. Like, live in the actual present. Do you know what I mean? It's like, even if you fucking are making 6 figures, like, just look back and be like, that is a good salary. That's just a good amount of money. And don't let someone tell you that's not. If you're making £80,000 a year, in comparison to the rest of the population, you're living large.
But there is a point. I don't know what point exactly, where you get the 40%, where you're in the 40% bracket.
Stiff with taxes.
And you get stiff. So there is a point where you go to the other side and then you hit that 40% tax bracket.
Fisted.
You might as well just take a salary cut and have the 20%. There is a slight point in between. I can't remember what the bracket is because I just don't know it.
Yeah.
I'm not privy to that information, and it's just because I haven't earned that for a while. I haven't been earning that. I haven't been having that 40%, luckily, but unluckily as well.
Yeah,
and that's the point where we want to get to. We want that fuck you.
No, but the thing is, 40% of tax band is like, you're not incentivized to make money in the United Kingdom, because the second you start to make something that's resembling a comfortable living for your job, what happens? You get absolutely fisted by the tax man.
Yeah,
40% of your money goes to roads that don't even get fucking done.
Oh, the worst roads in the UK.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's got the worst roads. Go to France and go to Germany. Go to anywhere else. They've got the best roads. And
potholes galore. And it's like 40% for that. 40% for that shit.
Yeah.
40% of your money is just going to get fisted the second you earn above like £45,000 a year. Oh my God, are you mental? And it's like trying to keep people poor. It's just, it makes me sick. It's like, if you have £40,000 and you move to Lagos, Nigeria, you will be a fucking king. You'll be living like a king, okay? But in the UK, you're living like an absolute waste, man. It's ridiculous. You're living like a neek.
So in terms of, let's talk numbers then. In terms of a salary, so if you was asking someone, if I was to ask you what salary you would need to live comfortably in the UK, what do you think the salary would be?
I think by the time it's made and by the time I have it, I think you're looking at about £50,000 a year.
Before or after tax? So you're saying, before tax, if you're on 50k,
you'll be all right. You can live a life with very little luxury, because it's like, you got to think of it. If you're renting a house, let's say if you're renting a house, we'll just go down the route of rent. If you say you've got a two bedroom house, it's £1,200 per month minimum. Mm-hmm. Food is expensive. It's how many people you can live in your house. If it's 2 or 3,
we'll get onto that in a minute. Food's
well expensive. You're looking probably £300 to £500 a month. Petrol for a car, probably looking at another £200 a month. Gas, electric, water, going to take you up another £100. It's £2,000 just there. If you've got a kid. If you've got a kid, you're going £2,000 for 2 people to live in a place. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I think that's why less and less people are having children.
It is, and we're on the verge of a population crisis. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, literally, the bulk of the population of most Western countries, most developed countries, is like 50 to 65. It's where the biggest percentage of population sits.
I've asked this to my friends, why haven't you had kids yet? And the first one is they want to enjoy life a little bit more. And the reason why is because they haven't got the money to. So they want to go and spend the money that they have, because they know once they have a kid, that their time gets consumed by having a child, because you know how that is, and the money that gets spent on it. So they're pretty much the 2 reasons that I've come across from friends why they've not had a child yet. And now I'm in my 30s. I'm turning 32 soon, and back in the previous generation, they were having children in their early 20s. Like my grandparents, my grandparents, when they were like 17, 18, having children. You can't even fathom that now. Like what that was like to even bring a child into the world then. Think back to my teens. I couldn't even think about having a child. I still was a child up here, and it's just because we lived in obviously different times, and money was completely different back then. And that brings me on to, it should be taught in schools. We have to start thinking about learning from an early age. I wasn't taught money in schools. I was only taught when I went home and asked my parents, and they didn't know. My parents weren't business owners. They were, worked in corporate world, and again, save, then buy a home. And that's no,
but are the UK
save, get married, buy a home, settle down, have kids, whatever. That was the way they lived. But we can't apply that way of thinking to our times, unfortunately.
But the question I have to ask you then, to that exact same route, is the UK fucked? Because it's like, is it just completely fucked? Is it at a point of no return now? Because it's the most popular city in the UK, popularised, is uninhabitable in terms of you feeling like you're going to be safe or any quality of life because of how expensive it is. Inflation is absolutely rife. Population is going to hit a decline. The housing market is just fucked. Like, it's just fucked. Food prices, fucked. Everything's fucked. Transport's fucked.
We don't even own most of our transport now. So it's all privatised, and I think that the Germans own our rail company. And the French own our Dartford crossing, so the bridge, and so that's our tolls. And we're coming to a point where we don't own.
No, but Deep, you have to pay £6 to go into an area. Like
£12.50 to go into London if you don't have a set car.
This is what I mean. In the UK, you actually have to pay money to travel when you're driving. How unfree are we? Do you know? When I have to, if I went from where I live into London, I'd have to pay the best part of £18.50 to get into Westminster, just to enter the area, just to get into it. There's like an invisible barrier. It's like, what is this country? We're messed. We are screwed from the top down. Oh my God, let's just up and fuck off. This place, man, it's ridiculous.
Civil war.
Because it will cause a civil war.
It will.
But we're in a generation of neeks.
We're gonna hit a cap. We're gonna hit a point where it says boiling point. It's gonna hit boiling point where people go. It's a bit like COVID, and you were told to stay in, and at one point people were like, "Fuck this."
No, but if that weren't the boiling point for everyone, was then when they're like, "You're not allowed to leave your house now."
Yeah,
I don't think. A day. When is there going to be a boiling point? You can't leave your house.
Surely that was just a test. At that point, COVID was real, but were the restrictions, was everything that came with COVID legit, or was that a test to see how far they can push us, see how far you can go? Right, because I know I spent 8 hours a day riding my bike.
I know. Well done. Good man. All right, let me give you an accurate analogy of what COVID did to the society, okay? Our bumholes. Fucking, it's gaping now, okay? And they've said, "Shut up, bitch, do as you're told," to all of us. It's ridiculous. It's like, sorry for the crude analogy. I do apologise, everybody. We are a family-friendly church.
Everyone's sitting at home clenching.
Like, oh, God, they're feeling it. And it's like, that's what COVID was. It was just a massive fucking fisting. It was ridiculous. It held no... Let's not get into it. Oh God, I'm fuming.
Everyone got fisted in more ways than one. It wasn't just staying in. It was, you couldn't see your family when people died. There's funerals that you couldn't attend, and you can't
go to your nan's funeral.
You had to do a Zoom call. What on earth? At times we were in, it's like, fuck this. I'd rather have a life-threatening flu, whatever it was, and to go and bury my nan.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like also the thing is, if we got COVID and it killed us, the population's fucked. The world's fucked.
Yeah.
Because we are under 40, okay, very healthy.
Yeah, we're
deemed very healthy by the... Like, if it killed off people who are our age, the population's fucked anyway.
Yeah.
Just go and enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, enjoy your last couple of days.
Yeah, no restrictions, go on free-for-all.
Like, Sweden had no restrictions, and they had less deaths than the United Kingdom. Deep that, okay? Are we just controlled? No, it's just but and then you got to think of, as we go talking about finances, the finances of what happened because of COVID, because they were giving out furlough. I mean, there was furlough given out, okay, and it's created mass debt within the nation, okay, and then inflation is getting fucked from COVID being such a financially taxing period of time for the country that we're now at a point where you have to pay £20 to go into London. Do you know what I mean? You have to, like, your fucking rent is like, good luck finding a place renting a place in probably the south of England under £1,000 per month. Good luck.
Yeah.
It's at that point now, and it's like, it wasn't even this bad 10 years ago. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, my mum saw a homeless person today, and she goes to Marks and Spencer's it's actually in Stroop, and she goes out and sees this guy homeless outside, and he's sitting there every day, and she asked him, why can't you get a job? And he's like, basically he lost his job, lost his house, and when losing a house, because he didn't have any income, the bank took away his bank account. And now he can't get a bank account. So he can't get a job because he hasn't got a bank account and he doesn't have an address. So the homeless are pretty much fucked. But we've got people coming over seeking asylum who get given a house straight away. We can't even look after our own people who are on the street.
Yeah.
And it's a sad time. It's like, it's not me saying don't look after your asylum. No, if they seek asylum, happy days. But at least go and help the people on the streets live a better life, or give them an option to have a central address. Here's your central address, and here's your bank account. Here's a Tide or Monzo bank account that you can have, and here's your address that you have to put on it. Go and get a job. But when you get to a point where you literally can't earn money because you don't have an address or a bank account, we're fucked.
But it's hard enough to get a job anyway when you're like, it's hard to get a job anyway.
Yeah.
And then imagine a homeless man rocks up with one pair of clothes, smelling like the arse end of a fucking batty. Do you know what I mean? Like the arse end of a Chatham minge. It's disgusting, right? It's like gross. It's not gross, but an employer would look at that and go, "That's gross," and like from their snobby perspective, and it's like, I'm not being funny, but it's just. Oh mate, I just think this country's in ruins at the minute. It's in absolute ruins.
So then, what can we do? What's a solution?
I think a solution. We're so far gone. I don't even like. I don't think you can begin to roadmap out a solution financially, because anything that's going to.
Because we can't just complain, and then not have a. I know it's not up to us to have a solution.
Okay, but let me ask you: do you fix socially or do you fix financially? Because if it's socially, the financial is going to take a hit. If it's financial, social is going to take a hit. And because if it's financially, everyone works 60-hour weeks. Everyone's incentivized to have. Everyone's incentivized to work. We're incentivized to pump money back into the economy. We're incentivized to use British businesses, for example, and things like that. That fixes finance.
Socially first, because I think we've got to change our mentality behind why we're doing it, why we're working in the first place, and who we're working for. We're not working for the government, but we are. At the moment, we are working to pay our taxes and pretty much a slave to the government. Modern day slavery. But at the same time,
that's not a you guys, by the way. That's at the government.
Yeah, fuck the government.
Fuck the government.
Well, we could be thrown in prison for that.
Oh, we actually might. We discussed that the other episode. We might get thrown in free. For all of America's faults, yeah, you could say, "Fuck the government" in America, and they're like, "Be fine." But it's like here we might get just rinsed. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck are we supposed to?
Big up Elon Musk. Freedom of speech.
We are literally. The United Kingdom is the biggest emigrated population worth of millionaires in. I think second, top 3 in the world. The most amount of millionaires are leaving this country than any other country almost in the world. Does that not concern? Is that not a concern to the higher ups that people who are actually free don't want to live here?
But people like us don't see that. We don't put 2 and 2 together. We only put 2 and 2 together when it's too late.
Maybe so. People like us are seeing it then, Rob, because maybe we are thinking about this. This is a topic we're having this conversation because it's like. I don't want to live here when I'm broke.
But I also don't want to leave my country when this is our country, and this is it's supposed to be Great Britain. Let's make it great again. I'm fully supportive of that. I don't want to ditch the country that I was brought up in, and I can still love it. There are areas of the country that are beautiful. There are people that are absolutely great. There's great. Villages in the northern part of the country that go to the Peak District, and you're just going to love it. It's different walk of life. It's the south at the moment where we are getting drawn into that rat race. That rat race is no longer just London anymore. It's spreading. It's spreading.
Because London's spreading. The orbital, it's like, I now say anything inside the M25 is London.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's technically not. But it's like, if you're in that range, okay, look at the average price of a gym. Look at the average price of a meal out. Look at the average price of a house and tell me it's not London. Anything inside the M25. Anything. Absolutely anywhere inside the M25. Watch how expensive it is to just live. You can't even get a shit house for under £500,000. A shit house. Like, you can't even live in slums. Like, or not slums. Like, you can't even live in like the UK's version of slums for under £500,000. It should tell you something, shouldn't it? It really fucking should.
The quality of the builds at the moment are terrible. Like,
yeah,
there's so many houses being built in the area, and there's so many issues going on with the houses that are being built. These are supposed to be new builds. These are supposed to be modern technology. It's supposed to be modern technology and builders that pride themselves, but they don't. They get contractors in and they don't give a fuck. As long as the house is built within a set time, the money's that's money in, money out, and that's how it is at the moment. For the people that are buying these houses, I feel sorry for. I really feel sorry for, because they're spending a lot of their hard-earned money to get into a house. Otherwise, you've got to live with your parents. I lived with my parents for quite a while before I moved out. You were able to rent, and you got out pretty early, which is great.
But 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been deemed. This wouldn't have been. I left my parents' house when I was 23. That wouldn't have been deemed early 30 years ago at all. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's like everything is.
But now a lot of people are trying to get on the property ladder, so they're choosing not to rent. They're choosing to stay at home, maybe pay their parents a little bit of rent.
Yeah.
Like a reduced rent, but still having to pay because their parents can't afford it. But the parent, in today's society, it's just terrible. But I can't just get up and leave, because I've got friends and family here who I want to be around. Otherwise, you've got to emigrate to Australia, who I know a few people that have, but they've left everything behind to start their own family.
Wouldn't go Australia. Probably go somewhere
quiet.
quiet.
Australia, maybe like Norway, or maybe a little bit of sun actually.
Austria, expensive. Actually,
France.
No,
dip into the south of France.
France is on the same trajectory. Just give it 10 years. Germany, same trajectory. Like Mongolia.
yeah.
Mongolia.
Yeah.
Isolate. I'm
Andorra.
joking. The winter will kill you in Mongolia, but somewhere where there's actually like intact with like a rich sense of culture, but a sense of you can live a good life. You can live a good life if you work. Like, we are now working to just survive. Like, don't get me wrong, everyone should work. They absolutely should, but we're working to just survive. Like, you're
working to live rather than living to work.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like, no, we should be able to work and have something that, I don't know, you might enjoy in the spare time. But no, you just, as we said, you have to make $2,000 a month post-tax if you're living with someone else, or if you're living with someone else, just to fucking survive. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, going on less holidays than ever. Holidays are definitely
have fun having holidays as well.
They're definitely a luxury, but you need a holiday. You need a bit of time where you go, I need some downtime.
Enjoy your trip to fucking Broadstairs.
But even if it is Broadstairs, enjoy the shit out of it, because you can enjoy going to a beach and actually sitting down on the beach and going.
You can, but you know what I mean. Like, in the sense that it's like, this isn't a problem in most other like Eastern Bloc countries. It's like, inflation hasn't killed them. Currency isn't like stiff. Like, you're not going to get you can get a house for a reasonable price and live a good quality of life. It's like New Zealand, much better example. Australia, better example, as you say. Fucking Cambodia.
Yeah.
Do you know? Fucking Thailand. It's just.
But Thailand's a great right. So I spoke when I was out in Thailand. Spoke to a Thai lady, and she definitely lady, not lady boy. I know lady boy. Spoke to a Thai lady, and she said the way they do business over there is that a Thai person has to own at least 51% of the business. So a foreigner like myself can go over there. I can start a business, but I have to go into partnership with a Thai person. So they have to own the majority share so that it stays within their country that a Thai person is owning business. And when it comes over here, anyone can own business. And if we went down that route, I think that's a good solution. If we brought that into where a Brit has to own the majority share of the company, I think that's a good solution.
And you'll get called a bigot for that, Rob. I'm just gonna. Yeah. There'll be one person under the thing calling Rob a bigot right now. Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay. Yeah. And it's like it's telepathic. It's just let's just try and make this place a bit better. Like, people are living in fucking vans nowadays. More people are living in vans than ever before, or like these tiny homes. Like. That's
my get out of jail free card. That's my backup plan. If shit hits the fan, I've agreed with my girlfriend that I would sell the house, and if it went really bad, get a van. I'd sell the house, buy a decent van. I'd have money to live on. I'd take my dog. My dog would probably have a better life.
Yeah.
I pride myself in having a pet. I love my dog so much, so I try and give him the best life. But actually, when I deep it, he'd probably have a better life if I lived in a van and just travelled around the country and he got to see like different places.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's just not feasible when I'm trying to build something and have children. Eventually, I want a family. I probably wouldn't be able to do that if I lived in a van. I know there's people that do and they make it work and homeschool. But when you're moving around, the UK is not equipped for camper vans. You go up to Scotland, you go into Wales and you can camp. But in the UK, especially in the south, they don't have places where you can stay unless you pay to stay. I'm talking about free camping.
Enjoy your fine.
The freedom to roam. We don't have that here.
No.
Other places, New Zealand, they've got it spot on. Australia, they've got it spot on. There's an app called Campermate. So if you're going to New Zealand or Australia, it might be dated or outdated now from when I went. But you've got an app and it tells you all the free places you can stay with running water, with a toilet. And the toilet might be a hole in the ground. It might be a cubicle, but it's still a toilet, right? And
you piss and shit in it.
Yeah. You can piss and shit outdoors.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a little bit clean, and then have places where you got really cheap, which got an honesty box where you can pay $5 or whatever it is. That's equipped and that's looking after their nation. It's looking after nature. More and more people are moving out of London now, moving further away because they want quality of life. They're going, actually, I want to enjoy nature. I want to enjoy my time. So people that live in London, that were born in London, that had a house that maybe, was 30 grand back in the day, is now worth
£650,000.
Close to $1 million because of the location. But they're moving out. They're buying a house for $500,000. They've got $500,000 in the bank. Wow, what a life! So it is, where you're born. Unfortunately, you are fucked by where you were born.
It's the time you were born as well. Because
born and what's it going to be like in future for the next generation? Probably worse.
Our kids are going to be stiff.
So that's why we are trying to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
You're not just building wealth for yourself. Of course, we are. You're a bit selfish at the moment in the way you think because you're just looking for freedom for yourself. You're trying to give yourself a break.
Yeah.
But there's a part of you that go, no, I want to help out
my kids.
My kids.
Yeah.
You want to build wealth. So we're called Rich, and we want to be rich, but we actually want to be wealthy. And part of wealth is our health. Wealth is health, health is wealth, whatever the saying is. But it's just money it's a tool. I want money so I can go and not have to think about money.
Absolutely.
And so I can go into a restaurant, and I think it was who's the guy on Joe Rogan? He said Joe Rogan podcast, I can't remember his name. He said if you go into a restaurant and order whatever the fuck you want and not have to think about how much it's going to cost you, you've made it.
You have.
You've pretty much made it. If you can go into a restaurant and go, I'll have all of that, and then just, here's the card, pay for it. You fucking made it.
You have.
And that's where we want to get to. And we want you to get there as well. But we don't know how. We do know how. Start your own business. Work hard in your own business. Be passionate about it. And just keep grinding. If there's a secret way, tell us.
Do you know what? I think that's a really good point to end on, actually. Yeah, keep Do your own thing. Be your own boss.
Be yourself.
Be yourself. Important. Everyone,
That's been a good one.
That's a really good one. Okay, I've been Mitch.
I've been Rob.
Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.